Okay, so today we are going to do a reading on aliens. All right, I haven't even asked a question yet, so we got that thing doing whatever it's doing. So, what I want to look at, so we're looking at, are there aliens? Now, everyone has their own ideas or experience about this, but let's just see how the cards show it and what the cards say. So, first, I want to kind of focus on interstellar or maybe terrestrial, because one of my theories has always been that they've kind of been here the whole time, right? They didn't necessarily come from some other planet or far away in the solar system, that they've been here the whole time. So I think I think we're good where this is. So we're going to look at physical, interstellar, or possibly, like, actually from here, aliens. We have a root card of the Queen of Wands. And we'll just see what the rest is, because I honestly don't know how to read that yet. Okay, terrestrial aliens. So basically the question is, are there any, either interstellar or like have been here the whole time? So we get the devil, and I am going to take that as a yes. And I can also see how stories of monsters could have come from aliens. Now, I do just want to see, what is this thing? It's funny because when I was just thinking about how this reading might go, I felt like this card might be in there. Um, I didn't know it would be reversed, but we've got a Six of Cups. Again, we see the devil, right? But the Six of Cups is really about telling an old story. Here they're like telling this old story through the puppet show, this good versus evil sort of thing. And nothing in the world was ever that simple. And this little puppet show that they're doing really shows how a lot of our ideas of something that happened is mostly smoke and mirrors. Well, I should say it's distorted, right? Just like if there was an alien and, someone might describe that thing as a devil. We also get the devil showing up in the six that just wanted to spit out. But if someone had, I got to get this glare dealt with, but if someone had an experience, especially if this is like way back in the day, before the concept of aliens even made any sense, um, and someone saw something that they couldn't understand, they would probably describe it as a devil or a monster, even if it was less maybe scary or fucking freaky than that. That is the way they probably would describe it. All right. So this shows that when this thing is reversed, it really shows more about like looking at something directly, like nuts and bolts. It's like less romantic, um, I suppose, and just sort of seeing something more for kind of what it is instead of the distorted image. But anyway, the distorted image would have us believe that it's a devil, and here the the card actually shows us the devil. So this card might be saying, no, really, they're devils, which is interesting. So this is the interstellar slash terrestrial ones. Now here, I'm going to put a card to see where these things came from and kind of hear for what are they doing, or, where are they heading. So we get the High Priestess and the King of Wands. Now this is fascinating. Okay. So the High Priestess, this is a very spiritual card. But the High Priestess, one thing about this card, it is very secretive. So the first thing about the high priestess, like, where did these things come from? It is spiritual, it is secret, it is sacred. All of those things in the high priestess. So secretive, sacred, spiritual energy, that's where they come from. Um, I mean, one of the other questions that I was going to ask is if they're like interdimensional, right? But the thing is, the high priestess would kind of show that too. So the ones that are here, even like they've been here for a long time, but I would say that this would say that they're interdimensional. Like maybe all of them are interdimensional, you know? And what is the devil doing? What are these goblins? What are they doing here? So we get the King of Wands, and the King of Wands is like the ultimate father figure, but the King of Wands would basically say that they're here to kind of show us how to be. Well, I shouldn't say that. They're here to set an example. Um, Now, the King of Wands is upright, so it's not a terrible example. The King of Wands reversed is like telling us to do a bunch of shit that they wouldn't do. But here, the King of Wands is like showing us how to be by them being how they are, and then they're so inspiring to us that we want to be like that too. So, secret, sacred, spiritual origins bring us these devils, and they are here to inspire us and show us how to live. Um, that is really fucking interesting stuff. So, the question is, where do I go from here? Because I was going to ask a second question about the interdimensional stuff, but it looks like that's already answered in the High Priestess. So I want to stay away from like disclosure and things like that because that's like a completely different reading. Whether our government knows or says anything doesn't have anything to do with whether or not these things are actually around, you know? Um, Even if no one knew that they were there, they would still be there. So let's see. I'm just going to look more at this and see what the example is supposed to do for people, right? If this is supposed to be a good thing or a bad thing, you know, if they're trying to teach us to destroy ourselves. And what we get is a Two of Cups. Um, and this is like harmony and romance. This would be how to be happy in a moment. And it would show that the aliens are basically trying to teach us how to be happy. That's kind of depressing because if that's true, they are mostly failing. They might not be very good at that. Huh. Okay, so I'm going to do kind of a timeline thing to find out how long they've been here, right? Because is this like a new thing? Because a lot of the stories about people seeing like ships and things started around the 1940s. But let's just see if they've been here the whole time. A Five of Wands. Well, what I would take out of this, so you see a bunch of these maybe more classic people, and here's one of them that is not like a classic person. So to me, this would say they've been around as long as we have. So as long as there have been people, there's these like monster things that have been in with us, fighting with us, competing with us, you know, mixed right in there. That is really interesting. So that's what we get here. Now, this is bound to lead to 1,000 more questions. So if you have any questions about where we could go from here, or any ideas about different angles to look at this from, feel free to let me know. But that's what we get here. Are there aliens? Yes, they are devils and our stories of devils are probably pretty fucking accurate, because apparently that's a lot what they're like. And this is saying that they're actually trying to teach us how to essentially be happy. Um, and these two couldn't be more opposite, you know? So maybe as long as there have been people, and as long as there have been people fighting, these aliens are trying to show us how not to do that. Even though they actually look like this, that doesn't mean that they're a bunch of dicks. So that's what we get. Peace.